It's time for an inside look at the most powerful motorsport on the planet. WFO Radio NHRA Nitro.
WFO, everybody. Joe Costello here at WFO Joe on Twitter if you want to follow along. Thank you for that. We've got WFO Radio on Facebook. We've got a Facebook group, all kinds of social media as we roll out these podcasts throughout the week. Reinhard, then the winners, the Ignition Show this week. It's all going to be great. You can download the WFO Radio app or subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcast. WFO is usually there, or you can go to WFOradio.com. Now, I already mentioned we're going to check in with Steve Torrence. He is the champ. He raced one race. He's won one race. And that is very depressing to a lot of people out there that like to root against the Capco team now. And if you're a fan of the Capco team, you love it. Kind of like being a Mercedes fan if you're in Formula One, or being a Yankee fan if you're in baseball, being a Jimmy Johnson fan a few years ago, being a Jeff Gordon fan in 1998. It is dominance that we are witnessing, and will they be able to maintain the dominance for another championship season? Or will they lose? And that's why you have to watch. That is why, to me, Top Fuel is must-see TV. You got to follow along, whether it be Fox Sports 1 or NHRA.TV, or whether it be listening each week on WFO Radio so you can hear the winners. Hey, we're also going to have Tommy Johnson Jr. and Erica on the show this week. Those interviews roll out during the week, so, of course, we ask you to subscribe. And if you like what you're hearing, write us a review. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, etc. And we get a lot of great information. Tommy Johnson, all kinds of good stuff. Erica always lets us behind the curtain for some great stuff and information about the team. Alan Reinhart this week, his home race, great stuff. That's all in the archive. Never miss a show on WFO Radio. So Steve, coming up just a couple of seconds from now, I do want to name check our sponsors, the people that make it all possible. Without these people, this podcast wouldn't be able to happen. Talking about Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School. Let me tell you, I got the invite to do the Dragster Adventure March 27th. Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, Gainesville, Florida. If you want to race with me, if you want to be up there in the class with me, then you need to go to frankhawley.com and get in on that March 27th class ASAP. Just telling you. I have gotten the word. I have confirmed. They have invited me. I've accepted. I am going to get up there to Gainesville March 27th. It's going to be great. I'm going to go through the course. I'm going to drive the dragster. If you want to join the course, there's limited seats. I know, this is like a land rush. It's like the Old West. Everybody is going to be going to frankhawley.com, 866-480-7223, or maybe not. But I am excited to go on the Dragster Adventure. Accelerate 0 to 60 in less than 3 seconds. Go 130 in the quarter mile. The whole thing. Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, Gainesville, Florida. Now, you don't have to be in Gainesville. You can go around the country. They go around the country, too. But if you want to be in the class with me, 866-480-7223, end of March. Go to frankhawley.com to find out more information. I am super stoked about that. You can probably imagine. But also there is great pressure because they're going to do the race at the end, and I kind of have to win it. Am I capable of winning it? No, of course not. I am very rusty. I haven't driven anything in a long time, but I will do my best. And you'll hear about it all over the WFO Radio Facebook page and Twitter and Instagram. I'm going to cover the whole thing. Win or lose, thrill of victory or agony of defeat. Frank and Lana Hawley inviting me to do something cool. Thank you, Frank and Lana. Thank you. Samtech.edu, 713-683-3817. If only I can get Samtech to invite me to go through the entire fuel injection course over a couple of months. Now, that would be something. Seriously, though, for all you people out there, if you're looking for a career, if you're interested in machinists, engine builder, you're looking for a great, strong career that's not going to get outsourced because it has to be here, folks at Samtech do such a great job. And I've gotten to know the family, but it's the students that, when they tell me about their experience, that reaffirms everything I am saying here. I love to have sponsors that I absolutely believe in what they do, and Samtech.edu is one of them. Give them a call, 713-683-3817. If you're a veteran, they're approved to train veterans under the GI Bill. They've got financial aid, blockhead, CNC programs, motorsport, EFI tuning, all of these things. Amazing stuff. CNC machining. You don't even have to be involved in racing. There are so many careers out there that Samtech can get you started off right. And one of the best things that they offer is all relationships and connections in the business. So once you graduate, they can get you started on getting a job. Samtech.edu. Total Seal piston rings. I was just at Total Seal this past week. I got the full tour from Keith Jones. And in the end, it's about not wasting money on your high-performance engine that you've built, whether you're a bracket guy, whether you got a powerful street engine, whether you have spent a lot of money buying parts to make your car fast. The piston rings are so vital. They are so vital to getting all of the value out of those other things that you purchased. And everybody knows this, and that's why they do so many piston rings out there in the pit area, whether it be stock eliminator all the way up to Formula One teams. Total Seal. Go to TotalSeal.com or call them 800-874-2753. If you're an engine builder that listens to WFO on a regular basis and you don't use the piston rings from Total Seal, I would ask you to give them a shot because of this show. Right? Reevaluate them. Call Keith Jones. Tell him you listen to WFO and that you want to give them a shot on some of their stuff, customer service-wise, period, and see how it goes. I think you'll be impressed. MagicDryUS.com, Scott Palmer. Oh, my goodness. This past week, Tommy Thompson was there. Nick Trask was there. We did a bit on NHRA's Facebook page where Nick Trask from Trask Performance, who makes these turbocharged Harley-Davidson, presented Scott Palmer with a motorcycle. And they asked me to help be a part of it, to be there when it happened. And instead, what we did was we made Scott think it was live on Facebook, and we were asking him questions, and then the whole thing, it unveiled on Facebook, NHRA's Facebook page. You got to watch it. It's over 100,000 views. You can watch Scott Palmer go from, like, promotional mode, Magic Dry, to feeling so appreciated and loved by all his friends. Really a great moment. And thinking about what Magic Dry is doing for Scott and drag racing fans, supporting the sport, supporting the show. If you have oil to clean up in your shop, wherever you work, and you're thinking about buying any other brand, MagicDryUS.com. Get some of their spill kits. Keep it around. If you're an over-the-road team, this is what you should use because it's lighter, it works better, it's all natural, it checks all the boxes. Supports drag racing, MagicDryUS.com. And RodaxCoffeeandGrills.com, Marvin Rodak. The hot sauces and the spice rubs. Everything good for grilling. Like, you think you're doing it right. Everybody thinks they're doing it right, but you might not be. And there's another gear, another level to your coffee experience. Gourmet, drag racing themed blends. Bang the Blower, WFO Radio. So many different blends. The Palmer blend. So many different blends of coffee. Plus exotic coffee from around the world. Marvin's got relationships with coffee plantations that make 2 bags of coffee a year. It's that great. 817-924-6821. That's RodaxCoffeeandGrills.com. Super excited. Plus Drag Racing Edge Magazine and EV3 Drag Racing. All right. Those are the sponsors. And now it's time for the champ. Joining us now, the aforementioned back-to-back Top Fuel World Champion, Steve Torrence. Steve, welcome back. Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Joe. It's good to be back.
So you took off Pomona. We all know why. No big deal. It's in the rearview mirror. But here, race 1 for you, you were presented your ring, your jacket, that you were crowned champion here. And does it feel any different in that this was your first race?
You know, I can't say that it feels any different. Maybe I had a little bit of first-round jitters and all that Sunday morning just because you didn't go to Pomona and get them out of the way. But I think that I've done this long enough that you just get in the car and everything goes back to the old routine, and you just go out and do what you set your mind to do. And we had a great weekend. I mean, the car ran well Friday and Saturday, so just doesn't feel any different, just maybe started a little later.
I like it. Well, you had a great quote, which I've been butchering throughout the weekend. It's like, we took off a race, we didn't forget how to race. Something like that.
Yeah. Just because we took off one didn't mean we forgot what we were doing.
Exactly. So you come in as number 2 qualifier. That run by, getting the top spot, Brittany. We know that they're capable of huge performances, and they were able to throw one down. But you guys were very strong and consistent throughout the weekend, both you and Billy. And before we go into round by round, Billy Torrence has got something going on already. In that, I asked about the championship, and he was like pointing at himself, like, I'm going to be the guy to knock you off the top, to prevent you from winning 3 in a row. It might be coming from inside the house, Steve.
How wonderful would that be if my dad could win a championship? I mean, heck, I've won 2 of them already. I'm not going to try to be greedy. I was content with 1. I'll do anything I can do to help him win a championship. So, he's tough competition, and you see this everywhere where people make comments about the budgets and you just outspend the next guy or whatever. And it's comical to me because everybody out there is corporately funded and backed by, huge teams. And to say that we're outspending those guys is funny, but it goes back to nothing more than the hard work and dedication of those crew guys, given both my dad and myself just an unbelievable race car. And when you go out there and you have that confidence and you do your job, the recipe for success is there already. So I'm proud of what he's been able to accomplish and what he will be able to accomplish.
You guys are very successful, and you're doing well, and I hope that you continue to grow. But, I think Connie Coletta has got you guys beat on the money thing.
Without a doubt. This guy owns a fleet of 757s or 47s. So, yeah, I mean, we're a small fish in a big pond in the scheme of things out there. We just have a really good group of guys that work very, very hard. I mean, you can't deny that.
It's good to hear you feeling up-tempo. The last time we spoke, when we did your champion interview, I don't know, maybe it was a little too soon after the finals incident. You were very down. You were very down about it. It was a couple weeks after, and, you talked about the championship. You're obviously very happy about it, but still, there was many things on your mind. You guys had a death in the Capco family. And, now I'm kind of glad that it's in the archive to capture that moment. But it was not a typical championship period after the championship for you.
Yeah, and I mean, it's unfortunate, but it's something you got to go through. I mean, I did the best job possible of embarrassing myself, and I did that, and I let my emotions get the better of me, and I apologized. I did what I was compelled to do and try to make things right. I spoke to Cameron. I went and talked to, I didn't have a contact for Cameron, but I didn't really want to talk to him on the phone. I went directly to him when I saw him in Phoenix and tried to clear the water again. And he and I both are on the same page, and there's no hard feelings or anything. And I mean, that's what I wanted to do. But if you sit around and listen to everybody else that walks on holy water and has never sinned in their life or done anything wrong, then they can throw you under the bus and you can get down about it. But I did what I thought was right to make it right with Cameron and myself, and you just got to move forward because everybody makes mistakes. Some people just won't forgive you for them.
Right. Well, to a lot of people out there, you're not a real person at all. You're a character on TV who wears a cowboy hat and wins races, and so they can say whatever they want because you're not real. But that's good to hear that you guys were able to have a couple of words. How were you treated by the fans? I'm a little concerned, honestly, all year long. Like there's going to be I've got a thing that I do. It's like the 1 out of 100, right? Like there's always like a person in every 100 that doesn't act as they should, good, bad, or otherwise, right? And so for every 100 people, that number goes up and up and up. And so when you have, 20,000 at a race, man, there's going to be quite a few people that might step out of line and be a little mean-spirited, et cetera. How was it out there at the ropes?
Honestly, there was a lot of welcoming back and a lot of just positive reinforcement from everyone at the ropes throughout the entire weekend, 3 days, and all the people were there, sold out crowd. I had 2 individuals that had anything negative to say, and I spoke directly to both of them. And other than that, it was wonderful, and the fans were great. So you're always, like you said, you're gonna have some people that just want to kind of continue to beat a dead horse, but that ship sailed, and we move forward. I mean, the only people that are dwelling on it's NHRA. They continue to play it on every commercial possible and tell me how detrimental it was for the sport, but use it to try to attract attention. I can't figure that one out.
Well, I understand that, being in the media. Like, that was it. To me, like, from the very beginning, I thought it was, like, compelling. Like, oh, my goodness, wow, this is going to bring attention. People are going to want to watch the sport when they see our competitors care about it that much. But I also understand your perspective. I don't want to dwell on this too much, but I do want to tell you one story. After this walking tour that I do, which you're aware of and you've participated in every time we have asked you, and I thank you for that, and hopefully we'll continue. I had a gentleman come up. Him and his wife, they're older, but not old. You know what I mean? Like, I call him 50 or something. And he was very, very bothered about the deal. And I said, and he had written a letter to the NHRA, and, he didn't think it was right because he himself had done something similar in his 20s or something. He kept referring to himself as a guy with a short fuse, and he didn't realize, and that it caused him a bunch of trouble in his life, et cetera, and so on. And that, he wishes that he could, give that wisdom to you, and he didn't understand why you didn't understand that already. And I was like, listen, man. And I gave him your whole things that I've heard from you. It's like, no, man, it was one moment. The guy has done a lot to atone, et cetera, and so on. And he goes, but I just can't support that. I was like, well, let me tell you something, sir. Then root against Steve, man. Then root for the other guy. Then root for, hope the other guy wins. And you have a reason to care about that run then. Like, if you can't get past it, okay, then root against Steve. And you got someone to root for every time he comes up on the track, the other guy. And the guy goes, wow, I never thought of it that way. And I was like, yeah, exactly. Or go talk to Steve and say what's up, and he'll give you an answer to your face. And we kind of parted ways on a positive note on that.
Yeah. And that's the thing. And I've had some fans that have sent some things in on social media, and I respond. And, more often than not, when you do respond, it doesn't allow them to continue to be mad. And if you just say, hey, look, I'm sorry, I screwed up. I mean, I own it. And I've had quite a bit of those scenarios where people end up saying, well, I appreciate you even responding to me and taking the time and saying, hey, what's up? And then you'll have a few people that just won't leave it well enough alone, or they always want to get in and make negative comments. And I just don't get that. I mean, if I don't like you, then I'm not going to follow you on social media and continue to hammer on me. I mean, heck, just click unfollow and go on about your life.
So imagine that. All right, let's imagine what a shocking revelation we have just had here from Steve Torrence. Imagine that. All right, let's talk racing. For your number 2 qualifier, first round, Jim Maroney. I love those guys, all Arizona team, trying to find their way. Alan and I had a discussion about the 71.7 and the 095 and the runs that would have beat it or it would have lost to in round 1. My understanding, and I would love your analysis on it, is that's Hoagie saying we need this to win this round and plugging it in. You tell me.
No, the 95, I'll tell you directly where it came from. And it's difficult to see unless you go back and look for it. And Maroney actually rolled the car through the beams as the light was coming on. And I went back and watched him. I mean, he wasn't trying to do anything to mess with me or deep stage, but once he pre-staged and then went into stage, he never quit rolling. The car just continued to roll. So I'm watching the bulb, and as the top bulb, or as the yellow lights start to come on, or just before they come on, that top bulb goes out. And I saw it out of the corner of my eye, and it was a distraction. And so I didn't really, I mean, that was the same thing that happened last year. And I really wasn't that mad about deep staging. I mean, you can do whatever you want to do, but it is a distraction. And I told the guys down there, I was like, wow, that didn't take long. The first pass of the year, the top bulb goes out. But Jim's a great guy. No hard feelings there. But I think that was a distraction to me. I mean, I just didn't, you're not expecting a blue bulb to click on and off while you're looking at the yellow ones.
Got it.
So you got to be ready for whatever. And I'm not a 95 guy, and I'm definitely not a 143, but those two rounds, second round against Langdon, I mean, I think that bulb flickered 16 or 17 times before it finally went out, and I had to bump the car again to get it to lock on. And when I did, the light was on, and I knew I was dead late and just there for the picking.
Wow, let's dive into Alan and I spent a fair amount of time about that, and it's funny, debriefing with Alan, who is now analyzing, many runs, and myself on the starting line in that crazy environment, cars launching off. That one stuck out in my mind big time. I went and talked to Bobby immediately, and you and Sean this year are going to be a lot of fun for me because I feel like Sean, one of the best levers in the category, is going to have a really good car. He's going to be coming for you. Antron and that team, they're going to be coming for you. Everyone trying to raise their game to knock you off the top. So I had special interest in that run to see how it would go. And I have never seen a bulb flicker like that. What was going on in that? I'm sure you were trying to roll in more, and you said it wouldn't lock on. It flickered more than I've ever seen a bulb flicker.
Yeah, it really did. And so almost always, when the bulb flickers, it'll eventually lock itself on. And I don't know what the exact settings are, but you'll get in and it'll be shallow and it'll flicker 3 or 4 times maybe, and then it just locks. So you don't have to bump the car anymore. You just stay there. It locks on, and then you're ready to go. Well, that thing kept flickering and going on and off, and it never did lock. And I remember thinking, I'm going to have to bump it again. This thing's not going to lock on, and I'm going to get timed out. So I bumped in, and as soon as I bumped in, I felt like the lights were just instant. Like the ambers came on, and I was, it just caught me with my pants down. I mean, you're dead in the right there, sitting there, and he's ready. He's been ready. He's just waiting on me to stage. And so when we left, I knew, I was like, oh, crap, I'm a day late and $1 short already. And I don't hear anything. I don't see anything. My car starts to spin the tire, and I still don't hear him. So I'm off the gas, back on the gas. It's spinning again. And I think I pedaled the thing 3 times. The second time, or the third time, no, I pedaled it 4. The third time, it starts wanting to get sideways, and it's heading towards the wall and heading towards the center line. So I finally get off, and I hit it one more time just to go across the finish line when I got the car straight. But that was a terrible round altogether. I had a bad light and done a just horrible job of pedaling the car. And
you won the round, though, which is the cosmic forces I talk about all the time. Like Leah had a 2/10 reaction time, comes out on the short end to your dad, who had a 100 light. Brittany had a 100 light, came up short against Doug. It's just you never know which way it's going to go. You were able to get through, though, to set up the semifinal run against your dad, very similar to the year before, if memory serves me right, and guaranteeing a Capco car in the final round. And what a race. 69s across the board. You were 1,000 quicker. You left a couple of hun quicker, and you beat your father and go to the final round. But whenever you guys get together, that's a big deal.
Yeah, it really is. And I knew that I needed to be on the tree. I had been on the tree all through qualifying. I was 73, 74, 67. And that's where I needed to be. Missed it first and second round, and so third round I go up there and I'm like, I gotta leave on him. I felt like their car might be a little bit better than ours, and if they had a good shot at outrunning us. They had lane choice, and I just needed to do my job. As always, that's probably the closest races I have are with my dad. You're racing the guy that the team knows exactly what you're doing. You know exactly what they're doing, and it's up to one of us to make the difference.
Other side of the ladder, it's Antron versus Doug. Doug wins. Doug won the Winter National, so kind of an interesting, winner of the first race versus the Auto Club Finals as well, versus the defending and back-to-back champ. Most people, and I know if you didn't have to run in the category, you'd want Doug to win a championship, right? But he can't because you're in the category, you and your dad. So tough stuff. But this is the the Clash of the Titans right here. Had to be very satisfying having taken off the first race and everybody asking questions to go out and win the first race over the guy who won the first race of the season.
Well, I mean, just to go to the final round and win the first race, whether you got Doug over there or whoever, I mean, that was very satisfying for us all. But it did, it made it great. I mean, Doug's has had the best car, or the most competitive car against us for the last couple of years, I'd say. And so to go into the final round against him, he's the most recent race winner, and stand our ground and hold our own against him. I mean, that just was a, a shot that we needed to go out there and take.
And the story is bad. Like, what's the story? That's what I'm always asking. What's the story, right? And in Top Fuel, it's Capco dominance. ... Capco dominance continues. Does it continue or is it not continuing, right? And that's the question. Okay, you missed the first race. Capco dominance. Is it continuing? Steve's back. Yes, he won. It continues. And so that's going to be the question mark at the start of the season. Are others able to step up and rise to the level you have been at? And looking at it, there are a couple of cars that are poised to rival you guys. Leah running very well. We know Sean and that combination is going to be good. Doug, of course, and Brittany. Like, those are the teams. And, of course, Antron's got Brian back. Eventually, they're going to be where they need to be.
Yeah, completely. And, you got three different parts of the season. You got the first, the middle, and the end. And typically, those cars that you named run really well in the first and the end. So we're trying to figure out how to be more competitive and have a little better handle on our cool weather track conditions and go out there and run 65, 64 with those guys. And when we're able to do that consistently, I think that we'll be a more well-rounded team and have a little more just a little more handle on what we're doing at the end of the year, because I think that we're most dominant in the middle when the conditions are not the best and the tracks are not the best. And so we always make up a lot of ground right there, and we've lagged behind at the beginning and the end. And I think that we're slowly but surely getting a firm grip on those conditions as well.
Let's talk about Palmer. He told us last week he feels really great because he feels like that he's got a clone of your cars, your guys put together the car. It's the same chassis, it's the same everything. And I saw Dom over there helping out with some of the stuff before he got his new fancy motorcycle, which was amazing. But a lot has been made about you helping them out, and this seems like the ultimate step.
This is the ultimate step. I mean, those guys now have everything exactly like ours. An MLR chassis, the same. Everything in the bell housing is the same. They buy parts and pieces from us, engine parts and pieces, and then so the more similar they are now, that car is just a direct clone of mine and Billy's. So I think that they will do better, and we'll continue to try to push them to the front. I mean, he went out and went 77, and I think that thing went 73 or 4 right out of the box, first pass ever on the chassis. So that car definitely is going to be a contender.
East Coast opener next, the Gator Nationals, and to me, the season hasn't really started until we got both sides of the country involved. It's a couple of weeks away, so you're going to have a little downtime between then and now. What are you going to do? And, give me a quick Gator Nationals preview.
Well, work is beginning to pick up quite a bit. Everybody's made it through the holiday season and really getting back in the full swing of things. So we're going to be busy here at Capco. Probably take a little bit of time this weekend and maybe next weekend to either do some early spring bass fishing or go team roping somewhere. So enjoy the time off. As far as Gainesville, man, that's one of the racetracks that I've never won at. We don't have that much success there. I'm hoping that we can go there and carry this momentum from Phoenix and try to do a little bit better. I mean, it it's a point in my career where I look at certain things and think, man, I can't even believe this is really something I'm thinking about. But there's 3 tracks that we haven't won at, and Gainesville's one of them. So we want to try to get it done there.
What are the other 2?
Brainerd and Houston.
Got it. Me doing a little research right here with Steve Torrence. I will keep those in mind. Even in the alcohol car, Steve, no Gator Nationals win.
No Gator Nationals win at all in the alcohol cars. And I don't think I've ever won at Houston in the alcohol car. I won Brainerd in A Fuel.
Okay. Well, there you go. Interesting. You know, those wins count, but I get what you're saying. Steve, congratulations. Great to have you guys back. You have been a face of the sport, since the run of dominance really began, and they're going to have to tear it away from you, and that's what's interesting. That's the storyline. And I know you're bummed about seeing that video because it was a dark moment, right, for you. But at the same time, I think that there's a person out there flipping the channels that is going to see that, that's going to want to know what the heck is going on in this sport that maybe never watched before. Maybe I'm wrong, but I think that's why they're using it. So anyway, all the best regardless.
Well, I sure do appreciate it. Thank you for having me on, man. I enjoy it, and it's always a good time to talk to you.
Thank you, Steve. Good luck. See you in Gainesville.
Yes, sir. Thanks.
Thank you, Steve. Steve Torrence with us here on WFO Radio. And I can't swear to it, but I think we've had him on after every one of his wins. I know. Going all the way back to the first one. And good for Steve and what they're doing. Having Bobby and Dom and Richard Hogan and all those guys back out there, Scott Palmer and the team, it really adds an element to it. We still do miss Mike Salinas and the Scrappers Racing Team and Alan Johnson and those guys. We're ramping up. They will debut out in Houston. But the whole Steve thing, still talking about it. I'm not going to talk to him about it ever again now. That's it. Rearview mirror type thing. Spoke with him about it after the finals. There is an interview in our archive that when we did it, many of our listeners were like, I refuse. All right, first of all, I got to take that back. Our listeners are a different subset of the NHRA drag racing crowd. Yeah, there's a big mob out there that many of them are unreasonable, don't want to hear from people. And I heard from them when we posted the show with Steve. A lot of people refused to listen. And they were like, I don't want to hear what he has to say, which I think is not the best move. I think you want to hear what people have to say no matter what, but I understand. People are angry all the time. And now, after we've gotten to this point, after I've seen him, talk to him, that's it. That thing is over. Now, as far as he is, not happy with it being showed over and over again, that's just how it is. John Force, Tony Pedregon is still being shown over and over again. It's a highlight. And every once in a while, I'm exposed to Street Outlaws because my dad is a fan. And my dad is at home all day. You know, he's a retired gentleman. And he's watching various things. And he loves watching drag racing in cars. It's a Street Outlaws is a soap opera for drag racing people, for car people, is what it is. It's a soap opera. It's as the world turns for drag racing / car people. And even people who aren't. It's a soap opera. This one said to that one. And this one and that one got a beef. And that kind of stuff. It's a soap opera. And one day I was in there watching, and there was a fight. And they all dogpiled onto each other. And there was like 20 people involved in a vicious scrum. And nobody, not one person, got on their Facebook page and said, this is a travesty about what's going on, and I can't believe you didn't call the California Penal Code X2-45, which states you're not allowed to. Nobody did that. But in our community, people do that. And it's just silly. Silly. And so Steve is back, first race back, wins the first race, and if you like Top Fuel drag racing, you should really like what's about to go down, because you got Doug Coletta, you got Sean Langdon, you got Antron Brown, got Brian Karate back, you got Brittany Force, best car she's ever had, all trying to knock him off, and others, all trying to knock him off. And his fiercest competition, let me tell that story a little more deeply, is coming from his dad. Gotta be. So I went over to the Capco pit, and just to catch up, just to say hello, welcome back, what's going on, why the red, who came up with the red, what's the story with this, aren't you superstitious about changing something, etc., and so on. So the answers to those questions are pretty, I didn't even ask him about that because that's inane, right? You don't care about that. They were talking about mixing it up. They came up with a couple of schemes. Steve put them on the table. Bobby and Dom, they liked the red. Steve said, red, you sure? Yeah, red. Billy didn't want the red. Then when he saw Steve's car, said, ooh, I want mine red too. There you go. There's the story. What about the superstition? Clearly, they won their first race out with it. And that doesn't have anything to do with it. So moving on. While I'm over there having my conversation, I'm talking about, history and going for the championship and where are they thinking? Like, how are they approaching the season? Are they thinking about any of those thoughts right now? And Billy pointed at himself. He's like, I am. I'm going to be the guy that knocks him off the top. Very highly motivated, very eager to be the guy to stop Steve Torrance's championship streak. So then I turn to the boss, Mama Kay, and I'm like, so how many is he running? And the number was as many as it takes to make the countdown because he wants to run for the championship. Last year, it was not the plan for him to make the countdown. It just happened. It was something that just happened. Almost in spite of their efforts. This year, they're trying to make the countdown. They want to run as many races as it takes to make the countdown. If they're finding themselves like, oh, we're not doing that great, they're going to run more. This according to the team. And Billy is going for it. So that is a story to watch. Billy Torrence beats Steve Torrence, ends the championship streak. Imagine that. But very fun. Good to have Steve back. And the story I referenced with the gentleman, hopefully he listens to the podcast. He may or may not. I gave it to him as a note in his phone. He was just very disappointed in the behavior and was, trying to come to the realization of what had happened. And I said, sir, root against him. Now you got a reason to root against him. Like everybody who lines up against him is your favorite driver. That's how it is in NASCAR. That's how it is in boxing and football. Like people who don't like the Patriots, guess what? They root against them. That's okay, man. It's okay. And the guy was like, wow, I didn't realize that. Use it as entertainment. Use it as fun for you. You like to watch Steve Torrence get beat. Now, it doesn't happen that much. But it gives you a reason to root on every run. And I agree. I believe there's got to be the guy with the black hat. We've been saying it for years. There's got to be the guy that some people view as the bad guy or the off-color guy. I'm going to list a couple. Darrell Waltrip, NASCAR. Bad guy. Jaws, talking about Richard Petty. Negative talk. They hated DW. Does everybody forget that? That they hated Darrell Waltrip. Was a hated man. And then he became a beloved man. And then another guy you might have heard of named Dale Earnhardt. Started off disliked, hated by people. Fans of Darrell Waltrip, fans of Richard Petty, hated him. Didn't like this guy. Brash guy, talking smack. Maybe in a different way. Hated. And then became beloved. On the plane, there is a movie, What's My Name? Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali, formerly Cassius Clay, becomes Muhammad Ali. What's My Name? Talks about Gorgeous George, the wrestler, and said he was watching Gorgeous George, and he was a very flamboyant guy, talking smack, talking about it. People hated him, but boy, did they all pay to see him lose. They paid, and Muhammad Ali said, man, that's a good idea, and immediately adopted the tactic, talking, just being brash, just talking, in the face, talking, saying stuff, and keeping the attention on him. And Muhammad Ali became, was hated by so many people, was hated, and then became loved. Right now, Kyle Busch, he'll, is he a talker? Is he a smack talker? Definitely does things that a lot of people don't like, myself included. And is a champion. Will he ever become loved or beloved? Or will people ever turn around on Kyle Busch? His fans love him already. The masses, not so much. Maybe you will, maybe you won't. That remains to be seen. And then you got Steve Torrence, our guy. Drag racing's got a character. Someone with a polarizing effect. You don't get those guys every day. Some people love him, some people hate him. His issue is he's not right in your face with it. He actually wants, you to understand him. He wants you to like him, even though he's not a perfect person. Imagine if Steve just went right at the haters and said, bring it on, like Brian Cox on the Miami Dolphins playing against the Jets. Maybe it was the Buffalo Bills. It was the Buffalo Bills. Brian Cox coming out, telling everybody they were number one with the double. You don't remember that. That's a 1990 Miami Dolphins reference. Too obscure. Thanks to Steve for coming on the show, and glad to have them back. Big part of the sport. Like him, dislike him, or otherwise. I should have said this at the beginning because the haters are not even here to listen. It's only the people that love him. Good for you guys. All right, more WFO this week. Tommy Johnson, Erica Enders. The archive is loaded. Just hit the menu and select your favorite. Last week, great interviews, all kinds of great interviews. We appreciate when you share the show and write a review. The WFO Radio app is rocking. We've got SoundCloud. Some people have said they're having trouble occasionally downloading on Apple Podcasts, but ours is not the only podcast. That some podcasts on Apple Podcasts are hard to download. It says, like, check back in a while, that kind of thing. Plenty of people are able to download it. I have not been able to figure out what that is. I'm hearing from some people sometimes about it. And that's why I would say download the WFO Radio app, which works all the time as far as I know. SoundCloud all the time. And it's a great app. Spotify. I've never heard anything negative about it. It's just the Apple Podcast one that occasionally. Maybe they're getting too many podcasts up on Apple Podcasts. It's too fat. Who knows? Our sponsors, Frank Hawley's Drag Racing School, the Dragster Adventure. I'll be doing that March 27th one. Excited about that. 866-480-7223. Samtech.edu, the School of Automotive Machinists and Technology. Start your education at full speed. Go to the school. Email me if you have questions. Like, I would love to help the next generation get set up and working and educated. Total Seal Piston Rings, the leader in ring seal technology. I feel much more educated on the product now, having seen the factory out there in Arizona. 800-874-2753. If you're building an engine, you should start with them. MagicDryUS.com. If you got a cat, get Cat Spot. If you got a shop, get Magic Dry. And if you haven't seen the video with Palmer, you got to go on NHRA's Facebook page. We got him. I'm proud of it because it worked out, like the timing of it. He thought one thing was happening, and live on camera, it became something else. And everybody knows I've always wanted to be a game show host, and so it was kind of like that. There was a big reveal. And RoadAxeCoffeeandGrills.com. If you can't do any of the other things, you can definitely buy a bag of coffee to support WFO Radio. And try some of the gourmet stuff that Marvin's got. He's got Brazilian, he's got African, he's got everything. For you coffee files out there, you consider yourself a really hardcore coffee person. RoadAxeCoffeeandGrills.com. 817-924-6821. Plus Drag Racing Edge Magazine and EV3 Drag Racing for your mobile device. Hit them up. And hey, if you want WFO Radio stickers, here's the address. Send a self-addressed stamped envelope. Castello Media /WFO stickers. P.O. Box 848-353. Pembroke Pines, Florida, 33084. These are the new stickers, the round ones. One stamp's good for about 4 stickers. I can't put more stamps than you put postage on your self-addressed stamped envelope. And if you're wondering why I don't just fill out the address all myself, I don't have time to do that. You should realize that. And one more thing. Patreon.com/WFO Radio. Patreon. What happens on there? Well, it's for people who don't want to hear all the sponsor stuff and all the stuff before the interview. They just want to hear the interview. Joining us now, right from there. That's where we start. And you get them before everybody. You get them without any other Joe-isms and before everybody. Before they're released. Pre-release. You just got to support. You got to be a Patreon. And there's a couple of tiers to support the show directly. But the people that I'm talking to, and you get special added content. All kinds of information. It's like a VIP listener club is really what it is. You get to be in the VIP listener club by going to patreon.com/WFO Radio. And obviously signing up. It's a monthly. But the people I'm talking to says it's well worth it. They get to know everything first, and they don't have to hear me as much. Great value. All right, everybody, that's going to do it. Tommy Johnson, Erica Enders, all coming up later in the week. We're going to do an ignition show. First time since the Daytona 500. Yeah, it's been tough, but we're going to get all over it. It's going to be a whole lot of fun. WFO, everyone.
This is WFO Radio.
I love WFO Radio. Oh, yeah.
The views and opinions of the hosts, guests, or callers do not necessarily reflect that of the station ownership, advertisers, or agencies.
We're talking gourmet coffee. We're talking hot sauces. We're talking spice rubs. We're talking everything good at RodakCoffeeandGrills.com. Marvin Rodak, been doing it since the 70s. Figured out that life is better with great coffee. And oh, he's so right. 817-924-6821. Call Marvin. He'll roast up some coffee fresh for you. Throw in some hot sauce, some spice rub, and you will be loving it. Hit him up, RodakCoffeeandGrills.com.
Start your education at full speed with the School of Automotive Machinists and Technology. Accelerate your career as a high-performance engine builder with classroom instruction and practical hands-on experience in the lab, on the dyno, and at the track. In addition to the blockhead and CNC programs, SAM now offers motorsport, EFI tuning, and an Associates of Applied Science degree. And SAM is a military-friendly school, approved to train veterans and other eligible persons under the GI Bill. Start your education at full speed. Go to samtech.edu today.
You're working in the shop, you've got spills, you've spilled oil, it's everywhere. What are you going to do? I know what you're going to do, but that's not the best way to do it. The best way to do it is to go to magicdryus.com and order the official organic absorbent of the National Hot Rod Association, Magic Dry. It's lighter, it absorbs more, it's better for the environment. It's made out of coconut. It's made in America. magicdryus.com. They've got spill kits that include everything you need for a regular, normal household spill, all the way up to a large industrial spill. We always say, if you've got a cat, get Cat Spot. If you've got a shop, if you've got a factory, if you've got a spill, call Magic Dry. That's magicdryus.com. Hey, engine builders, Total Seal piston rings are the leader in ring seal technology, and they go out of their way to help their customers and will make custom sets for any specific piston you might have. Customer service, top notch. Made in America? Absolutely. They're located in Phoenix, Arizona, and they've got everything it takes to develop the world's best piston rings. Give them a call at 800-874-2753 or go to TotalSeal.com. Attention adrenaline junkies, Frank Hawley's Dragster Adventure is calling you. Rides available for the 2020 season. Go to frankhawley.com. They're coming to a track near you. It makes a great gift, and you know the holidays are coming, whether it be licensing for super comp, super gas, all the way up to top alcohol, they can do it. But if you're a drag racing fan and you've always imagined what it might be like to drive a dragster, to accelerate 0 to 60 in 3 seconds and run 10s in the quarter mile, give them a call. 866-480-7223, frankhawley.com, the Dragster Adventure, and tell them you heard it on WFO.
Hey, WFO Universe. Want something for free? Send a self-addressed stamped envelope with plenty of postage, and we'll load it up with free WFO stickers. That's right, I said free. Send your envelope, care of Castello Media /WFO stickers to P.O. Box 848353, Pembroke Pines, Florida 33084. Do it now.
This is WFO.